Hello, Commanders. Welcome to another day in Star Trek Fleet Command. I hope you're all doing well. Wanted to touch base with you on a video that was actually requested by one of the people in my Discord. And for those who don't know, I always put my Discord link in the description below. Feel free to join that and add to the community if you want to. You may have to click on the read more button or whatever to see it, but it's there. So feel free to join that. Love to have your input and feedback on things that I'm sharing. But and since it was a direct message to me, I'm gonna keep his name, confidential. But because I don't know if he wants to be mentioned in one of my videos. But you know who you are, buddy. Thanks for all your contributions, crew recommendations. It's been great to have you in the Discord. So today's video, I want to talk specifically about going 40 plus. And like I know Rev Deuce has put out a video recently where he talked about the costs and things you need to do to prepare. But I want to take a slightly different angle, and I want to talk about pros and cons specifically, and kind of take the angle or the approach of, for those who have gone 40 plus, what are things you wish you knew? What are things benefits that you didn't know about or didn't consider? Or what are some pitfalls that you're like, man, I wish I'd known this. These are some things I regretted not knowing or not having been told by Scopely or whatever. Okay, so I want to talk about those specifically, and I have a lot of points here that I kind of jotted down. And so I want to share those with you. And if you have additional questions or want me to go into more detail, please let me know. I'm happy to make another video about some of this stuff. So I think that the overarching idea here needs to be that you shouldn't feel pressured to go 40 plus just because Scopely's putting out content in the 40s, because it seems like that's where a lot of the players are. At least that's what the idea that I get from videos I watch, from players I've talked to and Discord I've read. I think a lot of the a lot of the player base is in the 40s. But if you find yourself in the upper level 30s and you're thinking about going level 40 plus soon, what do you have to consider? What are some benefits, and what are some of the things you should watch out for? So that's something I want to jump into and talk about. Before I do, mention really quickly here that we're about 40 subscribers short of hitting my 1,000 subscriber goal on YouTube. So if you're in that boat and you're new to the videos, you haven't seen these before, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps us grow. And like I said earlier, join the Discord. I've been doing a monthly giveaway since I started this, I think I'd have to check, I think September. I've been doing a monthly giveaways. One battle pass, $20 battle pass giveaway, so you can get a $20 battle pass. But if we can hit, and I posted this on my Discord, but if we can hit 1,000 subscribers before next ARC launch, then I will give away two $20 battle pass giveaways. And then I'll have to evaluate after that, see how well the channel is working. But yeah, it'd kind of a thank you and helping me get to that 1,000 goal of mine. So that's out there. Feel free to subscribe to help me out with that. Really appreciate it. Okay, so first thing I want to talk about is the Ascend keys. If we go into my items, I have 3,600. I will never use them again, but you need them to upgrade your station to level 40. It's one of the requirements listed, and I think this was Scopely's way of getting the game to allow you to go 40 plus, because at some point that didn't exist, right? Okay, so you have to get these, and you have to get them by beating an epic armada with a G3 epic ship. So a lot of players did not know this little trick, and so I wanted to share this with you in case it's something I think a lot of players know if you've been around for a while, but I still see it creep up once in a while, so I want to make sure everyone is aware that unless they've patched it somehow, it's been in the game for as long as I've known about it, for a long time now, that you can actually take and beat an Eclipse Epic Armada. If you beat that during an Ascend event, you have to watch out for those, but if you beat it with a G3 Epic ship, you will get your Ascend keys. Now you're going to affect the loot for everyone in the Armada. That is true. If you send a ship and it's got 1,000,000 power, it's going to be distributed. The loot's distributed on a percentage basis based upon power, as far as I understand it. And then the Stella has the loot bonus specifically for the Stella Eclipse Armadas. And so, yeah, you're going to affect the loot, but you can get Epic Directives pretty easily compared to other sourcing. And so it's definitely something to consider, so you can save your Epic Directives for future Armada events and so forth. So just something to consider. Okay, so as we jump into it, just keep in mind that it seems to me, and from the Discord member that had recommended this video topic, as I thought about more and more, I thought, Scopely has really been coming out with content for 40 plus players. And so I don't think Scopely likes you sitting. They like spenders. They like you spending. They like you moving up because you're more likely to spend. Things like that, yada, yada, yada. I won't tell you to spend if that's not your thing. If you have the resource to do so, by all means. But yeah, don't feel obligated to do it. Only do it if it's fun for you. Now, that's something I can't help you with. You're going to have to determine if you want to go 40 plus or not. If you're happy where you're at, by all means, stay there. Don't go 40 plus unless you feel like you want to. But if most of the player base is in the 40s, and Scopely continues to come out with content in the 40s, then you're going to feel pressured to go up just to participate in the content, I think. I never would advocate or suggest you do that just because Scopely says so. You do what's fun for you. But you may have months where it's 40 plus content and you'll just have to be okay with that. So that'll be a judgment call you'll have to make. No judgment, just saying. Okay. So let's talk about general advice. One thing I want to mention, whenever you're going in operations level, if we're talking about doing it the most efficient way possible, and I've mentioned this before in videos, and some of you have asked me about efficiency and how it's calculated, and there's been some videos that have been put out that really, I think Rev did one some time ago that was really great. But in order to save on material costs like your uncommon gas crystal or resources like your parse steel, your dilithium, your titanium, there's efficiencies that will affect both your building and your ships. So hop in this tree just to quickly look at it. You'll either see like a down arrow like on this prime station resources efficiency, or like this $sign that has kind of like a down pointing symbol here. This is for building efficiency. And you'll want to go through your research to make sure as much as possible, if you can, to have these maxed before you go up an operations level. Now, have there been times when I personally have ignored those because I need to spend resources so I could win an event, and it was seemed more economically beneficial to go up in operations? There's a whole other video we could do about that, right? So you're going to make that call, but trust me, in the long run, when you get up an operations level, you will thank me for doing that. But once again, if you want to go up an operations level and you're like, let's just throw out efficiency out the window because I want that new operations level, because it's fun for me to get new ships, then by all means do it. Just know that you're going to be paying more for it either in time or in real world dollars. So just something to consider. So they're kind of spaced throughout. I wish I had a way to say, show me all efficiency researches that I have uncompleted, or get rid of the ones I have completed. It can be a pain to kind of dig through. So you'll have to go through and find all these and make sure they're as max as possible if that is the direction that you're going to go with it. So just something to keep in mind. Okay. Let's talk about pitfalls. And once again, as we go through this video, please keep in mind there's a lot here. I'm trying to keep it condensed, but there's a lot to talk about. Okay, first off, and this is probably one of the two number one complaints that I got from players where they said these are things that I kind of regret, wish I'd known. One is the warp range of their miners. What do I mean by that? Well, if you're going into deep space, you need bigger and bigger warp ranges. Now, there's some research that can help with that, but your G3 miners need to be maxed or near max in order for you to reach the first areas even of where you can reach the G4 mines. So you'll want to think about that before you go 40 plus if you have to mine larger or G4 nodes, even just to be able to reach them. Now, there's a difference between operations level and your rep of your faction. If your faction gets too high, then you're gonna have to consider having some really good miners to do that. The benefit of going 40 plus is you can actually push to get your G4 miners. Now, you can farm blueprints in the capital systems, and I almost hesitate to show because there's a lot of information in this video, but let me show you really quickly. So for those who don't know, each system has one. You've got Sol over here in Federation space. There's Romulus here in Romulan space, and then Kronos down here in Klingon space. So you can actually farm those. It's going to be a lot easier if you have a G4 uncommon ship to farm them. So you can build them, or so you can build the G4 miner at Ops 41 if you have the blueprints, and you can spend faction credits on it if you want. You can also get them in the away team store, but some players who just want to save their credits for future things have pushed to 42, built their uncommon G4 ship, and just slowly mined, or farmed, I should say, farmed hostiles to try and get those blueprints. And some days you'll get some, and some days you won't. Some runs you will, some you won't. I guess it depends on your time that you want to spend on that task itself. So just something to keep in mind, but you're going to want to keep in mind that you can't build that at 40. You have to push to 41 for your miner and 42 for your uncommon G4 ship, depending which one you get. And so you'll have to kind of think, do I save credits for this? Do I have enough credits to purchase those with faction credits, or do I have other options for me? The thing I think you don't want, that the number one complaint, or one of the number one complaints I got, was getting 40 plus, getting your rep up, and then deciding, oh crap, I can't do my mining. I'm just gonna have to forego that. So that's not a good place to be in. One thing you can do is, if you work on your discovery, you can actually use your discovery to summon a G3 miner out to G4 space. And for those who don't know, G4 space starts right about here. So here in Romulan space are the first G4. Now there's some mines, like, let me switch here. There's some mines here, G4. There's some here. So they have a little bit lower warp range, but here is where you're going to have like ore for the Romulans. And you got a couple of gas nodes here, and then go over a little bit. Klingons right there. So yeah, the warp range is the thing that's going to be the biggest deal right there. Another thing to think about that people maybe don't think about as much is when you go from up to level 39, you can compete pretty well with the solo leaderboards, less people maybe. But when you go 40 plus, it's a lot harder to compete in those solo leaderboards and to win officer shards and what have you. So just something else to keep in mind. Something else that I think, this is a little overlap with some of the videos I've seen, like from Rev and others, but when you go to level 40, you cannot, I repeat, you cannot refine uncommon material. So that's just something you want to keep in mind, that maybe you don't want to jump up to just 40. Maybe you want to plan and go up to 41, where you can build that G4 miner, or to 42, where you can get that uncommon warship. So just something to think about. Why they didn't plan it so that you could refine at 40, I don't know. But it's something you'll want to think about when you're deciding to jump from 39 to 40. 40 to most players is considered a dead zone for that very reason, that you don't just want to sit there, because you're wasting all that raw material that you could be mining on refines that, even though you can get commons, you don't want your uncommons to be a bottleneck for you. So you don't want to waste raw material on that. So anyways, those are some main things that I found that were pitfalls or regrets that people regretted not knowing about, not thinking about as they went up in operations level from 39 to 40. So benefits. As you go up in operations level and you're getting to that uncommon G4 ship at operations 42, you're going to have better warp range. What does that allow you to access? That allows you to access missions. So missions in deep space, you can get more missions, which will give you faction credits. You can also get reputation. Now, some players have saved that for their strategy of locking, say, one faction at a time, getting to that 1 billion rep level. Seems like players around that level are still working towards the 1 billion. When you're in the 50s, it's the 15 billion you're probably working towards, would be my guess. But you may want to save those for later on when you need to push another faction up. But that's completely up to you. But bottom line, you'll be able to have access to more missions. You'll be able to get to bigger armadas with bigger payouts. So we know that the Voyager has been introduced where you have a higher warp range. So you can actually take your ship pretty far into deep space once you unlock it, as long as you have a bigger player on your alliance that maybe has a G5 ship, or you have enough players that have enough G4 ships that can beat it. As long as you start it, you'll still get some payout, and you'll get a leader box for launching their armada, which is pretty nice, especially when you get pretty far into deep space in the G4 area anyways. So that's something to consider. If you have a bigger warship, though, you'll get a bigger percentage of the loot, even without being the leader of the armada. So that's something to think about. Something else that will come up, and now whenever I refer to the gold border missions, I'm referring to this, like right here. Mine will be different than yours, but it has kind of this gold or this yellow border in the mission area. But you want to keep on top of those. And just to give you an idea of one example that later on, you may not hit this right when you go 40, but something to keep in mind for down the road. In deep space, well, I should start here, I apologize. So here you've got, concentrated latinum system, and each area is going to have those. And they don't really get much bigger when you start getting to deep space here, even to G4 space. When you get far out, the nodes I don't think they're that different, if at all. But as you move up and you keep up on those missions, up here, there's these mines. Oh, and I recalled mine. But up here in Tarna, they're almost 1 million in size. They're like 987 or 78,000, something like that. They're pretty big, especially if you have the Ferengi whip. That increases your mining speed like crazy for these. These are really great to unlock. In my server, there's a general, most alliances follow this, that if it's not like Mining Monday where you get points for stealing Latinum, you can kind of sit out here on these nodes and just change them every hour or two or whatever it is, however fast you can mine them. And so you could actually sit out here and mine a couple million pretty easily with even just one ship. So that's something to think about. That there's other things that open up to you to make your game a little bit easier as you go 40 plus. So once again, it may not come right at 40, but it's out there. Something to think about. Mentioned the disco a little bit earlier, to be able to summon your ships out to deep space to do that mining initially. One other benefit that I think a lot of players know about, but make sure you have your disco max, because as soon as you hit 40 and you have a max disco, there's an event every Sunday. Was it Anomalous Phenomena, I think? Something like that. Anyways, you can literally do it in like 5 minutes, and you get enough materials that for 4 days you can do a turn-in. And it gives you 24 one-day speed-ups every day. So you're just from that one loop, 5 minutes, you get like 100 one-day speed-ups. which is fantastic. For me, not so much. Just an example, I have stuff that I'm waiting on that's well over 100 days, multiple things. So that's just the nature of being 50 plus. So I wish they'd come out with something that gave even more speed ups. But I guess they make money off of selling packs, so it is what it is. So anyways, that's something that's really great about going 40 plus is you'll be able to get a lot more speed ups. I wouldn't do it specifically just for that, but that is a huge benefit that will really help you with the different things that you're trying to work on, and it doesn't take that much out of your game to do that. I've also noticed that the economy, compared to even when I jumped 40 plus, the economy is way better. So there's a lot of different things that you can do and participate in. I know we're always complaining, and I definitely feel that too, of all the loops that Scopely adds to the game and how time intensive that they are. But there are certain loops, like the Bajoran loop, for example, that is fantastic. You have to do those solo armadas, but it's fantastic for paying out resources, or I should say materials, parts, things like that, for doing it. So keep up on some of the loops can really help you skyrocket your ability to get through the 40s. And have fun doing it without as much effort as when I was there. So that's fantastic. And speaking about solo armadas, for me, and I don't know, maybe you guys can leave a comment. You all can leave a comment down below if you are the same way. But I felt like when I got into the 40s, that one of the funnest things I had was as I got access to bigger ships, I could take on bigger targets. And I was always testing myself, okay, I got this ship. I was able to tear it up a little bit. Or what if I were to use these exocomps? Or what if I were to use the exocomps and these ships where it's the Defiant, Cerritos, Titan, whatever it is, what have you, to be able to buff these ships? What if I buff them? Can I go into the next level system? And I found as I did that and pushed myself, it wasn't a chore. It was actually kind of fun. I like to see what I could do, what kind of crews I could come up with to beat those solar armadas and get that loot so I can maximize my turn-ins, and it was just fun. So those are the main things that I want to share with you today. I'd love to hear your comments either in Discord or down below. Are there other things that, if you're a 40 plus player, just barely gone 40 plus, is there anything I didn't mention that you regret not knowing or wish you had known about the value of going 40 plus? Hopefully this video, bottom line, hopefully it gives you enough information that if you are sitting at 39 just because you're nervous about the 40 plus economy and doing that, hopefully this gives you some information so you don't have to let fear or nervousness about the unknown hold you back. There are really some great advantages to going 40 plus, really great stuff that you can experience, but ultimately that has to be a decision you have to make. And I have to highlight, bold, double underline this comment that you need to make the decision. Don't let Scopely make that for you. If you feel like 40 plus is where you want to go for it. If you're happy at 39, stay there. But hopefully this video has highlighted some things from myself and my experience, as well as some players I've talked to, that really gives you hopefully some good insight on, here's some things that some players regretted not knowing beforehand, or here's some benefits that maybe I didn't totally know about some of these things, to make the journey to 40 plus all the more easier and fun. Because bottom line, this is a game, dang it, and it should be fun. So anyways, I look forward to seeing you next time. Hope this video is helpful, and we'll talk to you soon.